Welcome back to DHN. I'm your host, as always, Wade Teamer. I want to thank you for joining us on another edition of this clear, consistent crypto content. We're talking Skale Network. At the top of the year, I added Skale Network to our content roster to give us another perspective on the growing Web3 gaming space. And I have to say, I am very pleased with the decision. So in this video, guys, we're going to go over the latest updates. They just had a pretty big hire, someone who has come in to spearhead their marketing department, and their resume is very impressive. So we're going to dive into that. And I'm also going to share with you a couple of the titles on Skale that have caught my interest. But before that, we're going to start with this Q1 report that Masari published not too long ago. Skale Network has some highlights for us, and these are pretty interesting, so I want to share them with you. Now, when it comes to network scalability, it's proving itself as average daily transactions grew by 18% to over 1 million transactions per day. Many sources are coming out. CoinGecko, as a matter of fact, published a report a few months back that stated Skale, when it comes to daily activity, not a single blockchain is topping Skale. So, again, in the months leading up to the decision to add Skale to the content lineup, this was the information that lended to me making that decision, guys. Now, when it comes to the applications running on Skale, we're not just talking about gaming. However, most of their apps are centered on gaming. More recently, they have been incorporating artificial intelligence. And one of the AI projects that is very interesting to me is Xord. Now, they posted this on the 21st, a couple days ago. Starting May 15th, our advanced analytics detected a significant surge in crypto positivity, predicting the ETH price jump from 3,080 to 3,600 days ahead of it. Now, let's jump over to their website to find out a little bit more about this company. Social Analytics API for crypto, stocks, and brands. This is using artificial intelligence for predictive analytics. That combination is powerful. I'll just put it that way. I was fishing around the website, and don't worry, what I plan on doing are profile style videos related to specific chains that focus on just one application. I'll definitely be exercising that with this pairing here. I remember 2020, 2021, predictive analytics was on the table. As a matter of fact, folks, there is a quote that you can find from Gary Gensler himself stating the need for governments to look into predictive analytics. Now, I'm not going out here and saying, I'm not going to go out on a limb and say that Scale's going to partner with the US government and they're going to use Xord for this, that, and the third. No, I'm not saying that. But the product is available. And when it comes to us rotating our sphere of observation to the United States, Skale has Silicon Valley backing, guys. I mean, I'm talking about the founders here. They have multiple years, 40 years combined in Silicon Valley. Now, if you want a little bit more history on the technicals of Skale, how it's built, I do have a video. I'll leave a link to it under this one. But Xord, guys, very impressive. Now, let's go back over here because they also mentioned Nebula Gaming Hub. This was pretty interesting, too. So from my preliminary understanding, what we have here with Nebula is this is where their game titles will kind of be housed. So a comparison, if you're having a Web3 gaming, Ronin, Sky Mavis, they have their Mavis Hub. That's similar to an Epic Games type store. Avalanche, I believe, also has a similar setup where there is a platform specifically to house and expose the existing games on a particular chain. So that's where Nebula comes in for Skale. So that's very valuable, guys. And you can see they're the chains leading the way in transaction growth. Daily transaction average 28% to almost 500,000 and 39% to 490,000 respectfully. Pretty strong year. And then on top of that, a lot of this was, the rest of the market was rolling as well. And you can see here, Nebula's gaming hub, home to over 35 games, continued to demonstrate Scale's ability to onboard the masses, averaging 183,000 daily new addresses in Q1. That's daily, ladies and gentlemen. That is very impressive. When it comes to fastest growing assets in the last 12 to 24, Scale is one of those. Again, all the more reason why I decided to add Scale to the content roster, because in 2023, I observed this asset very, I wasn't hounding them, but when I would dip into Web3 gaming, fish around, see what was going on, it was always the Scale network popping up. So this type of asset, you put it in your back pocket and see if it make any noise, right? Well, they started making noise. So as you can see here, now the numbers are proving that, guys. Now, in addition to the fantastic Q1 that Scale started with, as of May, they have hired industry veteran Andrew Saunders as first chief marketing and growth officer. Now, I was fortunate enough to be on X when this announcement dropped, and I was able to, chat a little bit with this gentleman, and he seems very enthusiastic about Scale, the network, the games, Web3 in general. And his resume, like I mentioned at the top of the video, is very interesting. Saunders is a creative visionary with a track record of generating over $1 billion in revenue streams for premier companies across media, entertainment, and technology. He previously served as global head of entertainment and culture at Amazon HQ, overseeing campaigns and partnerships across all entertainment sectors. Before that, he was vice president of content innovation and creative at NBC Universal. I didn't need to read any further, but I did. And he co-founded the brand partnerships division at the creative artist agency, CAA. They've been in blockchain before, ladies and gentlemen. As a matter of fact, they're also partnered with the Theta Network. So, very interesting synergy right there. Lastly, Saunders has engineered creative campaigns and partnerships for over 250 global brands like Airbnb, Apple, Chase, BMW, Google, Intel, Netflix, and Starbucks, plus over 300 artists including Justin Bieber and Chris Pratt. Transitioning to Web3 from Hollywood and big tech, he served as the first CMO at Arbitrum and the inaugural chief marketing CMSO at Hashflow, where he led all global marketing efforts. So there's no denying that Andrew, he bought his business, and I cannot wait to see what comes out of this. He definitely has already done his research. He posted this thread out a couple days ago that pretty much gives you the technical rundown for what to expect when you're getting into Scale, right? Lifetime gas fees, 0. When compared to other EVM chains, Scale is at the top. And then we have this here, blockchain metric testing. This testing was actually done by Dartmouth. Now, again, leaning into that thinking of, which projects in the US are making the biggest moves. I don't think I brought this up in the original profile video for Scale, but yeah, folks, Dartmouth published a research report on this project. And when it comes to newer assets, this was not heard of back in the day, guys. This was not heard of back in the day. So I was very impressed by this. Let's read a couple metrics here. Let's go back up and start at the top here. So what they studied Scale for were transactions per second and time to finality, which are crucial performance metrics for any blockchain. TPS measures the number of transactions on a blockchain that it can process in a single second, indicating speed and scalability. TTF measures the time taken by a blockchain to reach a consensus on a transaction, signifying its efficiency. So, transactions per second, speed and scalability, time to finality, efficiency. And according to Dartmouth's research, Scale, highest transactions per second. Very interesting, because we were just talking about transactions per second when it comes to Hedera, Solana, Avalanche. There was a chart chain leak, I believe is the website, or chain app. Either one. I have it posted out on my X, but they were talking about the fastest blockchains. So what I would like to see is these numbers compared to Hedera's numbers, which would be very interesting. And from the perspective of a young chain, again, having a Dartmouth research study behind you, it's kind of impressive. Now, when it comes to TTF, which is again focused on the efficiency, time to finality, 1.46 seconds. 1.46 seconds. Now, I'll admit to you right here, I received that 100 scale from the Skale community. So if you happen to be listening, thank you. And did not take that much time either. So I have a little bit of experience to lend to that. But over here we can see Skale network currently consists of 20 individual Ethereum virtual machines, blockchains, each with a TPS of 397.7. When combined, the entire Skale network boasts an impressive performance of 7,954 transactions per second. Now, what I'm going to do is take this statistic and I'm going to put together a graphic on transaction speeds and see where Skale links up. I'm going to do that for us. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Follow me on the socials. Now, outside of this, let's go back here, finish this out. Unique active wallets, 32 million. This is the CoinGecko report from last year that went viral, electrified the Web3 gaming space. The end of 2023 was very exciting for Web3 gaming. And you can see Skale, top of the list here, 230,000 daily active addresses, beating out Wax and another Web3 gaming company that we are going to be talking about very soon, and that's Ronin. Now, something else that Skale really likes to boast about is their ability to allow people to interact with their games without having to pay gas fees. So I wanted to really know how that worked. Well, going back into the documentation, because again, in that profile video, I didn't go as deep as I probably wanted to, but I'm gonna do it right here. The reason Skale is able to provide zero gas fees during the experience is that they utilize a token called S-Fuel. It has no economic or monetary value, and the token is available to Skale chain owners upon chain creation to distribute as they see fit. However, as with any network, it is a requirement that those providing the compute, the validators, have to find a model that makes sense for them to run the nodes and provide the compute. In most networks, this happens in the form of gas fees. However, without gas fees, an alternative option for value had to be created. The alternative value is done through Skale chain pricing and payments. Skale chain pricing was introduced to help the network have a sustainable economic model that offered the best unit economics to developers while also incentivizing validators to run the network. There was a recent decision in the Skale community. I can't precisely recall the time frame, but there was a decision made in regards to that. There's a subscription based system now when it comes to people who want to build a Skale chain, which we'll touch on in a second. But they provide an analogy here that I want to share with you as well to give you a better understanding of their incentive model. Now, when it comes to traditional computing, businesses or developers rent server space or virtualized instances from cloud providers like AWS, Google Cloud, or Microsoft Azure. The service is paid up front by the business or developer, which then deploys its applications or services on this rented infrastructure. Users or clients of these applications don't pay for each interaction with the application, such as each HTTP request. Instead, the cost of these operations is absorbed by the business or developer who has already paid for the resources. Applying this analogy to the Skale network, Skale provides a similar system but operates in the blockchain space. Developers or developer communities can rent Skale chains using the Skale tokens on Ethereum's mainnet. This is akin to renting server space in cloud computing. After setting up their Skale chains, these developers can deploy their decentralized applications and other blockchain services. So how it works is people come to the Skale network. They want to create a game. In order for that to happen, you need to pick out a Skale chain or build out a Skale chain. in order for you to get that access, you have to purchase a certain amount of Scale tokens. So when it comes to the value of of how the value is brought into the network, there's your entry point right there. Now, where this comes out at, I believe, has a lot to do with the hubs, which is actually listed here. Scale chain types. So a Scale chain is categorized as either an app chain or a hub chain. While app and hub chains share the same technology under hood, their application within the Scale network differs. Hubs are community-operated Scale chains that function as Web3 service layers that are divided by specific use cases. App chains are dedicated Scale chains which provide high performance throughput to individual applications such as Crypto Blades or Exorde. So what it is you have your hubs and then you have your app chains that kind of connect the hubs, which is an interesting setup. Very interesting setup. As far as how that keeps value within the chain itself, well, of course, you have to consider the initial upfront payment, and then you have to consider the activity that's taking place within each of the games that are going to be coming to Scale. Now, of course, we are very early on. A lot of these games are in the development stage, they're in private betas, things like that. But when it comes to the rate of speed that Scale is exhibiting when it comes around development, very impressed here. Haven't seen anything move like it. Now, on the subject of games on the Scale network, I did start doing some fishing around, guys. Most recent addition would have to be their campaign around Katana Inu. They'll be coming to the Scale network pretty soon, and I see that Solana logo in the back. That's a cool Easter egg. This is a third-person fighter game here. Looks very cool. Looks very appealing. What I like is the incorporation of crypto-centric characters. You know, Web3 characters that you see when you begin to surf around these communities for a little bit. So I think that's going to be a very attractive element. And you can see here, guys, website looks pretty decent. Want to check these out. But it's set in a third-person perspective. Katana Inu immerses players in a fast-paced combat wielding katanas and unleashing powerful spells. The game focuses on a play-to-own approach, enticing gamers from Web 2 to embrace Web 3 revolution while providing an exceptional and fair gaming experience. All games, skins, and spells are purely cosmetic, ensuring a level playing field. So there are definitely NFTs involved. They have an NFT mint coming up very soon, as a matter of fact. Yep, I remember reading that on the Scale blog. We'll dive into that in another video. But another title that caught my attention, guys. And this one, if you're a Call of Duty fan, this is right up your alley. This is Haven's Compass. Now, when it comes to first-person shooters on the blockchain, not all of them are, up to par. We'll just be honest. But according to the visuals and the clips that I've seen, and as a matter of fact, I'm about to get ready to play it. And you see, I got metalcore finally. Oh, yeah, it's coming. But when it comes to Call of Duty style games, first-person shooters, this is the closest I've ever seen. And it looks fantastic. All right. I wish I could play the audio for this edit because this edit was sick as heck on its own. But I'm really excited to play this game, guys. So I got my first Scale title queued up. Haven's Compass. Gonna dive into that, guys. If you want to join me, of course, you can get it on the Epic Games Store, which is the biggest proponent for Web3 gaming. Shout out to Epic for seeing the transition and riding with it. So before I, talk your guys' head off, because I'm inspired by Web3 gaming, to be completely honest with you. Like, price is just one element to it. Yeah, we're all going to make a heap ton of cash. Man, the market is pulling back. Wonder what's going on. But we're all going to make money. I don't doubt that. What inspires, what excites me the most is the new subcultures, the new industries, the new things that are going to come from what's being created on these chains. And then I also discovered something else too, and I'm going to save this for a doc. There are hardware devices coming to Web3 gaming, guys. We need to be focusing on Web3 gaming. You need to add that to your radar. because once hardware hits the market and there are physical devices that people can put in their hands that they don't know the difference between blockchain and two chains, like it won't matter to them. That's when blockchain gaming is going to go to the next level. And you can say, oh, you're being overly optimistic. These things always fail. So Solana's mobile phone, right? I'm just a bit more optimistic, guys, and I'd rather stay on that side. So with that, I'm done talking. If you want to pick up some crypto, you guys know where I'm getting it. We're using Uphold. They're a channel partner. Always remember, crypto assets are very volatile, so don't put in more than what you're willing to lose. All right. However, if you do take that risk, here's what I want you to do. I need you to get a hardware wallet device. If you would like, SafePal is one of our channel partners in that realm of hardware wallet technology. I've been using one personally myself, the S1, since 2020. Haven't had any issues since. So very happy to share that with you guys. Again, if you use the links in the description, I do get compensated. I want to thank you in advance. With that, it's time for the best part. If that money is digital, so is the hustle.